Welcome, seeker of peace. Today, let us explore a simple yet profound truth that holds the power to free your mind and unburden your heart. The power of letting go. Many of you have felt it, haven't you? That tightness in your chest, that endless cycle of restless thoughts, all tied to the things you carry but cannot change. You see, we live in a world where holding on is glorified. We hold on to expectations, to grudges, to things that went wrong in the past, and to worries about a future that has yet to arrive. We grasp tightly to people, ideas, and identities as though letting go would mean losing a piece of ourselves. But what if I told you that letting go is not about loss? Rather, it is about gaining something far more precious, your freedom. Freedom from the chains of your own making. Freedom from the endless pursuit of control in a world that flows like a river, always changing. In our lives, we are often like children holding onto a rope tied to a heavy stone. We convince ourselves that if we hold on just a little longer, we can move that stone, we can change the past, we can fix what has already happened. But what happens, my friends, when we grip that rope so tightly? Our hands bleed, our hearts grow weary, and yet the stone remains unmoved. The first step to letting go is to recognize what you're holding on to. Take a moment, close your eyes, and ask yourself, what weight am I carrying that no longer serves me? Maybe it's an old resentment, a mistake from the past, or an unrealistic expectation of who you should be. Acknowledge these things without judgment, for it is only in this recognition that we can find the courage to release. There is an ancient teaching from the Stoics, wise men who walked this earth long ago. They believed that the root of much of our suffering lies not in events themselves, but in our judgment of those events. One such Stoic, Epictetus, said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Think about this for a moment. It means that we do not suffer because of what we experience, but because of our attachment to how we think things should be. Imagine, if you will, that life is a flowing river. Each moment, each experience, each emotion is like a leaf being carried by the current. The river does not cling to any leaf, nor does it try to push one back upstream. It simply lets each leaf pass by, allowing the flow of life to continue uninterrupted. But what do? We dive into the river, grasping at every passing leaf, clinging to it with all our might, and in doing so, we create suffering where none need exist. You must ask yourself, why do we hold on so tightly to things that only weigh us down? Is it fear? Is it the illusion of control? Perhaps it is the fear of the unknown, of what lies beyond the pain or attachment we have grown so used to. But dear friend, remember this: letting go is not about losing. It is about creating space for something new, something better to come into your life. It is about surrendering not to defeat, but to the flow of life itself. Let me share a story with you. There once lived a monk who carried a great burden, a memory of a betrayal from a close friend. For many years, he held on to this pain, convincing himself that by doing so, he was safeguarding himself from future hurt. But one day, an old master approached him and said, "Why do you clutch this memory like a precious treasure? It is only a thorn in your hand. Let it fall, and you will be free." The monk realized then that the memory itself did not cause his suffering. It was his refusal to let it go, his insistence on reliving it again and again, that caused his pain. And so, with a deep breath and a prayer for peace, he released it into the wind, never to carry that burden again. And so I say to you, what burden do you clutch tightly in your heart? What memory, what fear, what expectation? Take a moment to breathe. Visualize that burden in your hand, acknowledge its weight, and then let it go. Release it to the wind, just as the monk did. For when you do, you will find that you are not losing something precious, but rather gaining the freedom to move forward unencumbered. Remember, letting go does not mean you are weak. It does not mean you are giving up. It means you are choosing to live in the present, free from the chains of the past and the worries of the future. It means you are trusting in the flow of life, in the knowledge that each moment brings new possibilities, new growth, and new peace. So, my friend, as you go about your day, I invite you to let go. Let go of the weight that no longer serves you. Let go of the past that cannot be changed, the future that is yet to come, and the need to control every aspect of your life. Allow yourself to flow with the river of life, to embrace its ever-changing current. For in letting go, you do not lose. You find freedom. You find peace. You find yourself.